Hello everyone, good day. I'm Saad Lau and together with my group mates, we are excited to guide you through Republic Act 11032 or better known as Ease of Doing Business. So this law is all about making government services faster, simpler, and more transparent for every Filipino. So sit back and join us as we explore how RA 11032 is transforming the way citizens access public services.
Good day everyone. For my report, I will be discussing Republic Act number 11032, also known as the Ease of Doing Business and Efficient Delivery of Government Services Act of 2018. This law amends Republic Act number 9485 or the Anti-Red Tape Act of 2007. Its main objective is to improve government efficiency, reduce bureaucratic red tape, and provide faster and more transparent transactions for both citizens and businesses. For the introduction and coverage, RA 11032 applies to all government offices and agencies, including local government units or LGUs, government-owned and controlled corporations or GOCCS, as well as other government instrumentalities. The coverage extends to services related to both businesses and non-business transactions. This means that whether a person is applying for a business permit, a simple government document, or other public services, this law ensures that transactions are processed more quickly with less hassle and with greater accountability. So, para mas maintindihan natin yung RA 11032, ito yung mga important terms or yung mga definition of terms. First is yung action. Ito yung written approval or disapproval ng request. For example, is yung pag-approve or pag-deny ng business permit. Second one is Business One-Stop Shop or BOSS. Ito yung site or online portal para makuha ang mga business permits. Example nito is yung LGU Online BOSS System. Third one is yung business-related transactions. Ito yung lahat ng requirements na need para makapag-operate ang business. For example, ito na yung mga permits, licenses, at clearances. Fourth one is complex transactions. So, ito yung mga applications na need ng masusing evaluation. For example, is yung pagkuha ng environmental clearance. Fifth is yung fixer. Ito yung taong nagpapabilis ng process kapalit ng bayad, which is illegal siya. Then, 6 is yung government service and ito yung kahit anong process tulad ng application for license, permit, or renewal. Then, 7th one is highly technical application. Ito yung kailangan ng specialized skills or training para ma-process. For example, is yung pag-apply ng telecom franchise. Then, 8th one is yung non-business transaction. So, ito yung government transactions na hindi related sa business. For example, is yung pagkuha ng birth certificate. Then, for number 9 is yung officer or employee. Ito yung government worker na nagpa-process ng applications or requests. Then, pang number 10 naman is yung processing time, which is yung time mula sa pag-submit ng complete requirements hanggang sa decision, hanggang dun sa final decision. Then, sa 11 naman is yung red tape. Ito yung sobrang bagal or complicated na process. Then, pang 12 naman is yung regulation. Ito yung mga batas or rules na nagpapatupad ng policy. For example, is yung mga licensing fees or compliance standards. Then, pang 13 naman is yung simple transactions. Ito yung mga basic applications na mabilis lang i-approve. For example, is yung pag-renew ng barangay clearance. Next naman is yung Anti-Red Tape Authority or ARTA. So, it is an agency attached to the Office of the President and it is mainly responsible for ensuring the full implementation of the Ease of Doing Business law. Its functions include, first, implementing and overseeing the national policy on anti-red tape and ease of doing business. Second one is carrying out reforms to improve the Philippines' global competitiveness ranking. Third one is monitoring and evaluating compliance of agencies and issuing notices of warning when necessary. Fourth one is initiating investigations, referring cases, or even filing violations against agencies or personnel. Fifth is assisting complainants in filing cases with the Civil Service Commission, the Ombudsman, or the courts. Then, next is recommending policies, processes, and systems to strengthen regulatory management. The next is reviewing proposed major regulations through regulatory impact assessments. So ARTA also provides support by conducting training programs for national agencies and local government units on regulatory management, preparing a regulatory management manual for guidance. Third is offering technical assistance and advisory opinions on legislation and regulations. The next is ensuring public access to regulatory information through the Philippine Business Regulation Information System. Next is working with agencies such as the CSC, DTI, and others for effective implementation. And lastly is yung performing all acts necessary to achieve the objectives of this act. Okay, so for the last part of my report, I will be discussing the reengineering of systems and procedures. So, under RA 11032, all government offices and agencies that provide services are required to regularly assess and improve their processes. So, this includes conducting cost compliance analysis, time and motion studies, and continuous evaluation to minimize red tape and shorten processing time. So, if needed, agencies must re-engineer their systems and procedures. First is the Anti-Red Tape Authority or ARTA will coordinate with all government offices in reviewing existing laws, issuances, and ordinances. So, if these are outdated, redundant, or cause unnecessary burden, ARTA can recommend their repeal. Second, all proposed regulations must undergo a regulatory impact assessment. This ensures that new rules will not add undue burden or cost to the public. In some cases, pilot implementations may be required before full rollout. So, lastly, upon the effectivity of this law, all LGUs and national government agencies are mandated to review their policies and operations and begin re-engineering their systems and procedures. So, even while awaiting their approval or the approval of the Implementing Rules and Regulations or IRR.
Hello, good day everyone. I am Saad Lau and I will talk about the continuation of Republic Act 11032, specifically about the Citizens Charter. So, as you can see, no, sa ating presentation, what is Citizens Charter? So, under RA 11032, the Citizens Charter is the official document that reflects the service standards of a government agency. It serves as a guide for the public whenever they transact with the government. This charter must be posted at the main entrance of the office, published on agency websites, or provide in printed form. And to make sure everyone can understand it, it should be written in not only in English but also in Filipino or even the local dialect. So example, pwede rin Muslims, Magindanaon, mga ganyan. Para everyone can understand it at yun, naiintindihan ng lahat. So, for example, meron yung situation na parang isipin na lang natin na kumukuha tayo ng barangay clearance. So, dati, minsan hindi malinaw kung saan tayo pupunta, anong papeles yung dadalhin natin, mga ganyan, or magkano yung babayaran. Pero, dahil dito, may mga pagkakataon na parang paulit-ulit na lang tayo pumunta doon or natatagalan tayo sa proseso. Pero, kung merong citizens charter, yun, mas may inform tayo agad-agad, mas malalaman natin kung ano yung papeles na dapat pala natin gawin or yung mga step by step. So, hindi na tayo mahirap. Kaya, napaka-important ng Citizens Charter. So, now, let us talk about the important details that must be included in the Citizens Charter. So first, it should have a comprehensive and uniform checklist of requirements. Meaning, for every type of application or request, the agency must clearly list down all the requirements needed. For example, if you are applying for barangay ID, the checklist may include your birth certificate and a proof of residency. So, second is the charter must show the procedure to obtain a particular service. So this is the step-by-step process the citizen must follow. Para siyang instruction manual kung paano ka makakakuha ng serbisyo. Third is it should indicate the person responsible for each step. So kung may step na submission of requirements, dapat nakalagay kung sino ang government staff na in charge doon. This way, citizens know who to approach, kung sino yung i-approach nila. Tama naman. So fourth is the charter must include the maximum time to conclude the process. So for example, if you are applying for a barangay clearance, it might say processing time is 30 minutes only. So this prevents unnecessary delays, no? Fifth is it should list the documents to be presented by the applicant if necessary. So this makes sure na hindi ka mawawala o pabalik-balik kasi yun na nga, alam mo na yung kung ano yung dadalhin mo. So, 6 naman is the charter must also state the amount of fees if necessary. So, for example, barangay clearance, yung fee niya is 50 pesos. So, this avoids overcharging and promotes transparency. Kasi, paano kung walang citizen con, tapos, for example, dala mo lang pala 20 pesos, pero 50 pesos pa lang kailangan. So, yun, uuwi ka pa para makakuha ng pera. Or let's say, yun na nga, kung walang citizens charter doon, ang mangyayari is, baka yung staff, baka buhaya na or corrupt, ang gagawin naman nila is, yun, hihingi sila ng 100, pero yung totoo pala, 50 pesos lang. Kasi nga, walang nakapaskil doon sa labas. So, and lastly, 7th, it should include the procedure for filing complaints. Importante ito kasi kung may problema, kaya ng delay o hindi pagsunod sa tamang proseso, the public will know exactly how and where to file their complaints. So in short, these 7 details make sure that the citizen charter is clear, transparent, and citizen-friendly. So next, let's talk about the zero contact policy under RA 11032. So this policy means that when you transact with the government, walang direktang contact o pagkikipag-usap sa mga empleyado maliban lang sa unang assessment ng requirements. So ibig sabihin, kung mag-a-apply ka ng permit or clearance, dapat malinaw na ang requirements at proseso at hindi mo na kailangan makipag-usap ng paulit-ulit sa mga empleyado. Bakit? The main purpose is to reduce corruption and promote efficiency. Kasi minsan kapag madalas na yung contact, nagiging open opportunity pa na ito para sa under the table payments or yung kumbaga yun, magbigayan kayo. Kaya ginawa itong policy para iwasan ang ganitong mga sitwasyon. So once the DICT or Department of Information and Communication Technology completes a web-based business registration system, lahat ng transactions will be done online. Halimbawa, kung kukuha ka ng business permit, instead of going to the office and talking to many employees, you will just upload your documents, pay online, and receive your permit through the system. And take note, all government agencies, including LGU or local government units, are required to adopt the zero contact policy. So this way, services are faster, more transparent, and less prone to corruption. For the rules in accessing government services, we have the part on acceptance of applications or receive. So first is all government officers or employees are required to accept written applications, requests, or documents from applicants. This means they cannot refuse anyone as long as the person brings the proper requirements. So second, the receiving officer must do a preliminary assessment of the requirements. So they will check if the documents are complete, and if something is missing, they should inform the applicant right away. But take note, the officer can only ask for documents that are listed in Citizens Charter. They cannot demand extra requirements. Third is once the application is accepted, the receiving officer will assign a unique identification number or ID. This work like a tracking number which will be used in all future transactions. Through this, the applicant can easily monitor the progress of the request. And finally, the receiving officer must issue an acknowledgement receipt. This must contain the agency seal, the officer's name, their unit or designation, and the exact date and time of receipt. This serves as a proof that the agency has officially accepted the request. So let's take an example, no, siguro. So if you are applying a barangay clearance, you submit your requirements. The barangay staff will check if everything is complete. So once it's okay, they will give you a reference number and an official receipt with a time and date. So this assures that your application has been properly received and is already being processed. So in this slide, we will discuss the action of officers under the rules in accessing government services. So first is about the prescribed periods to process. The law sets specific time limits for government agencies to act on applications depending on the type of transaction. So the first type of transaction is simple transactions. So which only need basic checking or present minor issues lang. So the maximum processing time is 3 working days from the date of receipt. So dito naman sa complex transactions, these are requests that require evaluation or involve more complicated issues. So example dito is applying for a business permit that requires checking of compliance with multiple offices like sanitation, fire safety, or zoning. So yung maximum period na lang nito is 7 working days or 1 week. So third type of transaction is for a highly technical application. So this is when the request needs specialized knowledge, skills, or a technical evaluation, or if it involves public health, safety, or policy. So ang example nito is getting an environmental compliance certificate or approval for building a power plant. So yung maximum period is whichever is shorter between 20 working days or the time determined by the agency. So the last type of transaction is for applications requiring sanggunian approval. So these are permits or licenses that need formal approval from the local legislative council. So example naman ito is a company applying for a franchise to operate public utility vehicles, or a large scale business requiring council resolution. So yung maximum period naman nito is 45 working days, 1 month and 15 days. Tapos, extendable siya for another 20 working days if needed naman. So, the next is under the actions of officer is about extension. The laws says that the maximum processing time may be extended only once, and only for the same number of days stated in the Citizens Charter. But before the original period ends, the office or agency must notify the applicant in writing. This written notice should clearly state two things. First is the reason for the extension, and second is the final date of release of the requested service. To make it official, the written notification must also be signed by the applicant as proof that they were properly informed. So for example nito is if a business permit is supposed to be released in 7 working days, but the company or agency is needs more time because they are still verifying documents, they can extend it for another 7 days. However, they must give the applicant a written notice before the first 7 days are over, and the applicant must sign it as a proof. So, the next is about naman sa adjustment or suspension of period to process. So, this rule applies when there are delays caused by force majeure or natural disasters or man-made disasters that damage documents or system failures in computerized or automated processing. So, in these cases, the prescribed processing times in the Citizens Charter are suspended, and the agency will make the necessary adjustments. Nangyari to siguro nung kapag may mga bagyugod or natural disasters. So, di ba, let's say, meron dapat silang ikon, pero dahil sa hindi talaga natin alam yung mangyari, so nasuspend kasi baka sa time na yun maraming nawalang documents, so nahirapan talaga sila mag-verify. So if another example nito is if a flood destroys some applications or the online system crashes while processing permits, the agency can temporarily suspend the processing period. Pero once the situation is resolved, they will adjust the timeline accordingly. So applicants are not penalized for delays outside anyone's control. So in this slide, let us talk about the identification cards and public assistance or complainants desk. So all government employees who transact with the public must be provided with an official identification card. So and they must wear it visibly during office hours. This helps citizens easily identify the staff they are dealing with. So, kasi baka mapagkamalang ka ding citizen, kaya kailangan talagang meron kang identification card or ID, kahit din sa school. Kasi hindi ka papasukin, parang ganun. So also every company is required to have a public assistance or complaints desk. So this desk serves as a central point where citizens can ask questions, get assistance, or file complaints regarding government services. So, kapag yung mga citizens is meron silang complaint or hinanakit, syempre kailangan nilang pakinggan para naman ma-improve yung kanilang services. So, kailangan nila lang mag-approach sa public assistance desk.
Good day everyone. So this is the continuation of our presentation. So next we have here the automatic approval or extension of license, clearance, permit, certification, or authorization. So one of the key features of the law is automatic approval. If an agency fails to act within the prescribed time, your application is automatically approved. Even just your receipt with proof of payment can serve as a temporary permit. So authorities can only extend deadlines if it's coordinated with oversight bodies like the CSC, DTI, SEC, or DILG. So this prevents agencies from delaying applications indefinitely. Next is we have here the other matters. First is the denial of application. So what application are these? The requests of the government services. So when an application is denied, it can't be vague or verbal. It must be in writing with the name of the person who denied it and the reasons clearly stated. So this ensures fairness and accountability. Okay, so on the other side, we have the limitation of signatories. So here, no more chasing multiple signatures kasi tatlo lang ang allowed per document. So if someone's absent, an alternate signatory can take their place. So this saves time for both applicants and government offices. Next, on the other matters is the electronic versions. So here, the law also embraces modernization. So here, electronic signatures are now valid and agencies are required to issue permits, licenses, and certificates electronically. Of course, ang electronic versions na to is dapat may security measures sila to prevent tampering. And then we have the adoption of working schedules. So here, government offices can no longer use lunch breaks as an excuse to stop serving. So here, the law requires offices to continue serving applicants during working hours kahit lunch breaks. So even in lunch breaks, yung office is open pa rin siya. So next is we have here on the other matters the streamlined fire safety procedures. So here, fire safety procedures were also simplified. So the fire safety evaluation clearance must be issued within 7 working days. For new businesses, the fire safety inspection certificate alone is enough. So for renewals, businesses must present their FSIC within 30 days, and fire insurance certificates are valid for up to 20 working days. Next is interconnectivity infrastructure. So here naman sa interconnectivity infrastructure is it is to support digital transformation. So the DICT was tasked to improve ICT infrastructure, and this also applies to telecom permits. So permits for towers and facilities must be released within 7 working days. So different agencies are expected to work together to make these processes smooth. So next we have here the Central Business Portal, or the CBP. So the Central Business Portal is a single online platform that serves as the gateway for permits and licenses. So it connects national agencies and LGUs. It also provides a unified application form and allows applicants to track their requests in real time. This ensures transparency and reduces red tape. Next is the local government unit procedures, or the LGU procedures. So first, we have here the single unified business application form, or the UBAF. It is required instead of using multiple forms for different offices. So LGUs must adopt one unified form. So this simplifies the process by reducing paperwork and duplication of requirements. Next is the one-stop shop, or the BOSS, established in cities or municipalities. So every city and municipality must set up a business one-stop shop where all permits and licenses can be processed in one place. So this saves applicants from going office to office. We also have here the automation of LGU processes required within 3 years. So LGUs are given 3 years to fully automate their business application processes. So automation improves efficiency. It also reduces human error and minimizes opportunities for corruption. Next is the electronic business one-stop shop must allow online submission of forms. So here, the electronic version of the business one-stop shop should allow applicants to submit forms online, making the process faster and accessible even without visiting the LGU office. Next is the business permits, valid for 1 year, renewable yearly. So once issued, business permits are valid for 1 year and must be renewed annually. So this ensures businesses remain compliant with local regulations. So lastly, we have the barangay clearances must align with city or the municipality licensing. So here, the barangay clearances should no longer be, I'm sorry if it's too noisy right now. I apologize, but to continue, again, the barangay clearances must align with city or the municipality licensing. So here, barangay clearances should no longer be a separate burden but must be harmonized with the licensing system of cities and municipalities. So this reduces the duplication and streamlines the process. So that will be all. Thank you.